Hey, how's it going? It is all the news all the time. Yes, it is. My name is Felix. Yeah, I nearly forgot my name yet again. I'm still a cat. I don't know why. Still a cat. And we're looking at some interesting news today, coming out from the Telegraph, which is talking about Unilever. This is Unilever's website, and as you can see, it's the usual claptrap of eco-mentalism, activism, and virtue signalling, which is what we come to expect from these corporate entities and their endless virtue signaling. We can look at the news from Unilever, news stories from them. What have they got? Beyond skin deep, creating inclusive products. Brilliant. Ambition to unstereotype influencer brand content. Brilliant. Clean TikTok. Oh, I don't know what that is. That's cleaning. Meeting the challenge. 100% renewable energy. Brilliant. So you can see the usual woke-tivism is occurring. The usual sort of greenwashing. AI performance enzymes, don't know what that is. So this is the usual sort of stuff: global warming, climate change, equity in advertising, that sort of shenanigans. They're trying to portray themselves, paint themselves in a good light, paint themselves as a progressive, left-wing, eco-friendly, all the usual claptrap. But is that the case? We ask ourselves. And as you can imagine, if I'm here, the answer is no. The answer is no, not at all. And they sell mayonnaise, remind yourselves. They sell mayonnaise and Dove and Cornettos, right? That's basically their own Persil. They sell that sort of shtick. So what is the Telegraph talking about? Well, Unilever is a war sponsor, not an ethical champion. They're saying this from Ben Marlow, chief city commentator, whatever that means. This is an advert that the Ukrainians have put up in, I don't know where they put this. They put it somewhere. And it says Dove, helping to fund Russia's war in Ukraine. And we've got a nice advert in their normal style with the white clothing on the white background, all clean and neat and nice. Oh, but there's people with no legs and people with no eyes and people in wheelchairs. Dove is owned by Unilever, which paid an estimated $331 million in taxes to Russia in 2022. So it kind of is a contrast to their eco-mentalism, left-wing, virtue signalling claptrap. When Unilever boss Hein Schumacher, good name, arrived at the imposing headquarters of his new employer on Monday, I think this is today, he could have been forgiven for turning around and heading straight back home. Outside the offices was a giant billboard with graphic images of wounded Ukrainian soldiers, along with their names and ages. Oh yeah, you can see those there. There were several double amputees. One had lost an arm, I believe you. And another was wearing an eye patch. The display has been mocked up in the style of adverts used to promote Unilever's Dove soap brand. And the Dove logo had been adapted to look like a Russian tank. This is not the look that Dove normally goes for. And next to it, a caption read, Dove helping to fund Russia's war in Ukraine. And below that was another, for those who don't understand the message quite yet. Dove is owned by Unilever, as you can see here, which paid an estimated $330 million in taxes in Russia in 2022. That buys a lot of tanks. Actually, it doesn't buy that many tanks. Probably buys about 16, 8 tanks. The publicity stunt was the work of activists collaborating under the Ukraine Solidarity Project. It could not fail to stop even the most hurried city worker dead in their tracks. The question, of course, is whether the public shaming can be successful in ending what is considered Unilever's de facto support for Putin's war. The company will no doubt take issue with its characterization. Well, they are in Russia. They are selling products in Russia. Bosses can take that up with the Ukrainian government, whose National Agency on Corruption Prevention has officially placed Unilever on its international sponsors of war list. Well, that's not a good look, is it? That's not a good look for your Dove soap. So if you are using Dove soap, make sure it washes the blood off your hands. Here's an image. A hall of shame if ever there was one. So this guy, he just turns up on his first day. We can't really blame him on his first day. That'd be harsh. Unilever must also take issue with being singled out. After all, there are plenty of other Western multinational companies that are still profiting from Putin's war, many of them having made the same promises to get out of Russia, only to quickly and repeatedly come up with the same tarred excuses for staying put. Exactly so. Unilever stands out like a sore thumb, though, simply because of its self-proclaimed, endlessly championed, and utterly nauseating ethical credentials, which you can see here, and their usual claptrap and virtue signaling. It's just shambolic stuff that they do. And we've got like a list of it. There's brands, oh, planet and society. Oh, look at all this stuff. Climate action, waste-free world, health and well-being, equity, diversity and inclusion. All this usual claptrap and wokeism and BS and just generally virtue signaling is what it is. And nauseating. Its corporate website is an endless stream of virtue signaling platitudes, with visitors greeted by the not insubstantial boast that Unilever brands are on a mission to create a better planet and society, as long as you're not Ukrainian. How does that bold mission statement square with the company's continued presence in Russia 18 months after Moscow bombs and missiles have been raining down on Ukrainian cities and villages, and its soldiers started carrying out unimaginable war crimes in the country? Well, it just doesn't, does it? And then a big part of the problem is that Unilever's ethical posturing never really stacked up because much of it was so painfully flimsy. It's just shambolic, isn't it? Shambolic. I'm depressed, and I'm a cat, and I'm depressed. The very idea that anything a company does and produces is imbued with some sort of heroic social purpose simply isn't in the slightest bit credible, even less so when that same corporation produces something as mundane as toiletries. Yeah, what do they make? Household cleaner and run-of-the-mill kitchen cupboard staples. What do they actually make? Let's have a look at this stuff. Are you buying any of this stuff, Dove, Liquid IV? Oh, don't put it inside you. Or maybe you do. I don't know. Sunsilk, Vaseline. I want to know what this stuff is now. Liquid IV, hydration multiplier. Right. Okay. Powered by the breakthrough science of cellular transport technology. Really? Or is it just salt? Okay, who am I to question these people, these geniuses? I'm just a cat. And yeah, seriously, how much good can bleach or mayonnaise really bring to the world beyond simply making your toilet smell nice, or a sandwich a little less dry? Now let's not be rude about mayonnaise. We like mayonnaise. Unfortunately, it took the horror of war to expose the whole silly charade for what it really is, and was, and still is. It is. It's just the virtue signaling claptrap. It really is. It's just endless virtue signaling to fool the gullible. And after all, this is an organisation that continues to operate in Russia on the basis that Dove shampoo, Nourstock cubes, and Magnum ice creams are integral to the lives of ordinary Russians who don't deserve to be punished for the illegal actions of the country's corrupt elites. Indeed so. Leaving aside the fact that most polls show support for the war is widespread amongst the Russian people, it's obviously preposterous for Unilever to suggest that its goods amounts to a fundamental human right. Well, everyone has a fundamental right to Magnum ice creams. And that obviously trumps any Ukrainian right to being alive. The Unilever's continued presence also makes a mockery of several pledges, of course it does, that it made in response to the invasion. As campaigners point out, despite a promise to both review its Russian operation and to no longer profit from its presence, the business doesn't just still exist, it's thriving. The latest group financial figures show that turnover doubled. So too nearly did net profit from 4.9 billion rubles to 9.2 billion rubles, because everyone else has left the country and left the market, and so they've moved into the space left, and they're making loads of money, which is really great for them and their usual claptrap that they can just make these websites about. It is just utter BS. All this stuff, position on this, position on that. Advertising and marketing. Where's W for war? Where's your position on war? Oh, there isn't one. There's wipes, though. Position statement on wipes. Let's have a look at their position statement on wipes. Can we open up? Where's it going? Oh, there we go. Unilever's position on wipes. They come in various types. Green wiping, when you use eco stuff to clean your credentials. From face cleansing wipes to kitchen surface or bathroom cleaning wipes, we know what they are. Nothing about the Ukrainian war there, which is disappointing for us all. Its tax contributions for the year are estimated at $331 million. So it's hard to argue when one soldier featured in the ad campaign accuses Unilever of being complicit in the torture of Ukrainians, complicit in the whole mess that Putin's military is making in our country. So there you go. In response to repeated questions about its failure, Unilever has flip-flopped. Having claimed it as a duty to stick around and sell Magnum ice creams, it later tried to argue its departure risked leaving behind valuable assets that could fall into the hands of the Russian state and therefore be used to fund Vladimir Putin's war. And so instead of that, you're just funding Putin's war yourself. With the company subject to a new Russian law obliging all large businesses to contribute directly to the war effort, God, reminds me of Volkswagen, this, including potentially through the conscription of its 3,000 strong workforce, there could be far worse to come, campaigners point out. Not for the first time, the impression is that all the endless touchy-feely stuff goes out the window when presented with hard commercial decisions. Exactly so. As soon as you get commercial reality, all this claptrap gets put where it lives, which is in the bin. It just does. It is all just greenwashing and woketivism and BS. Unilever has also been forced to defend itself against accusations of profiteering during the cost of living crisis after forcing through price rises of 11% in the first quarter of the year alone. Nice, nice. So you make double billion profits and you're still raising prices by 11% in 1 quarter of a year. Man, this company. If the FTSE, which is the Financial Times Stock Exchange 100, that means it's in the top 100 largest companies in the UK. If this company still harbours ambitions of being taken seriously as an ethical champion, pulling out of Russia has to be Schumacher's #1 priority. So he's not living up to his namesake, one of the best Formula One drivers in the world. He is in fact in charge, not that guy, he is in charge of a company that is funding this guy's military ambitions in Ukraine. So I think you need to have a word with yourself, Hein Schumacher. Have a little word with yourself and make some decisions that aren't just BS claptrap. All right, let me know your thoughts. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And I will see you guys later.